All right, everybody, it's time for another episode of Disagree With Me or Don't. You know what time it is, Louie. Let's get this thing started.
Touchdown.
Ready? College football is now B1G versus SEC.
Down. Put.
If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money.
Ready?
All Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works. All right, Andy St. Clair, what's the word on street, man? How you feeling?
You know, we're good, man. I'm good. I'm alive, and that is the important thing as we move into the holidays.
Yeah, really alive too. If you listen to All Right Bet on Wednesday, as the intro says, or you're throwing away money, we handed out two winners in the game that night. The MAC games, the underdogs both win. Money lines handed out to you. Hope you guys got paid on that. Pay attention.
Well, also the Browns. Some of us told you to take the Browns.
Some of us did say to take the Browns, and other guys aided on the Browns. This guy right here aided on the Browns there, man. But hey, listen, tune in on Wednesdays free. We're handing out picks. We're handing out money. You guys got to get on that damn thing and win yourself some money. Now, Andy, we got to get to the guest picker this week. We got ourselves a great guest picker. Friend of ours, friend of the show. You guys, you know this guy when you see him. If you know us, you're going to know this guy when you see him. But let me start at the beginning because it's a pretty rare air, this fella. On the main stage at Second City in Chicago, some pretty rare air right there. For the last 5 years or so, he has had one of the most popular horror podcasts out there. My Neighbors Are Dead. A great horror podcast, and the thing's like top 10, man. Legitimately, like that. Great show. Right. You can go back and listen to episodes of that thing for sure. You also caught him on the Emmy-winning sketch show from Netflix, So I Think You Should Leave was on that thing. Right now, he's touring with Second City, and their 65th anniversary shows at the Cincinnati Playhouse down there in Cincinnati. That thing sold out. They're extending that thing through the new year. I heard an excellent show. Anyway, welcome to the show, Adam Peacock.
Hello, my friends.
Peacock.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hi, buddies.
It's almost like we're doing it again. It's almost like we're doing it again.
It's deja vu
for the first time. I'm so excited to be your guest picker. I'm really excited for this wild card energy.
You got now. You're very knowledgeable on some gambling stuff. Are you ready to go?
No, but I think
that's what's going to make you just absolute killer. You're going to go like 6-0.
I took a pre-math final in high school, and I guessed on every answer, and I got all those right. So wow. I'm excited for this. Yeah.
Wow.
I think I actually failed the actual test, but I got all the practice ones right.
Oh, man. You're still not going to tell anybody you cheated on that, huh?
No way, man. I got that diploma. No, heavens no.
We're going to stick to that story, man. So now you got casinos right there in Ohio. Now you're in Cincinnati, right? So you could be gambling.
Yeah, the Hard Rock. Yeah, Hard Rock Casino. Brett Michaels is going to be here, I believe, in late December.
Are you going?
Are you going?
I don't think so. I don't think we're going to go.
Oh, that's a tough one to miss.
Yeah.
Can I tell you about one of the best concerts I went to? Because you said Brett Michaels, and it made me think of we all have two mutual friends, but one main mutual friend. His name's Brett Gunnell. And Brett Gunnell, and I'm talking March 4th, 2020. Okay. So COVID is here, but we're not on lockdown. And Brett's like, somehow, I don't know why, because I'm old as him. He's like, we should go to Kiss, and they're at the Staples Center. And I got to be honest with you guys, Kiss is fine. They're not my favorite. Like I know a couple songs, right? A couple.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So then, of course, Brett gets Fred involved, Mr. Fred Brown, and he guilts Fred into getting the three of us tickets through Fred. Fred is, for those who are listening, he's like a genius musical person, producer. He works in some high profile bands, blah, blah, blah. But so Fred does it, right? He does get his tickets. And we go on March 4th of 2020. As we're walking in, I'm like, I hope we don't get COVID. I'm like making these stupid COVID jokes. Like those embarrassing ones we were all making in early March. I was definitely doing it. And so was Brett. Anyway, opening for Kiss is David Lee Roth. And he's horrible. And he's really bad because he's old. But whatever. But here's how my favorite part of this concert was fine. I'm going to say whatever. Whatever. But at the end of the concert, Kobe had died a couple months beforehand, like in January of that year. All of Kiss donned these Laker jerseys and dropped balloons. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Unbelievable. Horrible. My point is, my only reason I say this is that I kind of feel like you have to go. You don't know what Bret Michaels is going to do. These guys get older and they start doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, you should go.
You think I should go for something wild might happen? That's a good.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Sure
you should definitely go. What else are you gonna do?
Right.
That had to be Gene's idea, right? To be like, hey, let's cash in on Kobe's passing.
Maybe Stanley. I don't know. It's hard to say because wasn't Gene doing a lot of talking at this point? And he was like, the house that Kobe built. And everybody's like cheering, and like Fred and Brett and I are like rolling our eyes, like,
yeah,
so gross. But Brett's loving it. He's loving the whole concert. You know, he's still talking about how great the concert is. Yeah. And I'm like, I just wanted to hear like a couple songs. I couldn't believe I was there. I'm like, what am I doing here?
Well, a good time was had by all, though. I'll tell you that right now, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Adam, listen, for those people that don't know, give us a quick breakdown on My Neighbors Are Dead. Like, what's the concept of the show? People hear horror podcast and they don't really know it's a comedy podcast. You know what I mean? So give us a breakdown on that.
Yeah, I really like horror movies. So the show is I interview tangential horror movie characters that you didn't see in the movie. So, Andy, you played a cop in The Dark Knight. You know, they're not always horror movies, but you know, the spooky element related. And you played a cop who just had followed the evidence and knew quite obviously that Bruce Wayne was Batman.
Yeah, he was just telling people. He was just telling people. He knew. He knew by watching. Because that would be a lot of information. That'd be a lot of burden to carry if you knew it. And you know, what would you do with it? You would have to tell somebody. So I want to know what that guy's life is like. Right.
Yeah, and then he becomes the crazy cop who always says that Batman is Bruce Wayne. You know, that's that cop. It's always like Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
At the end of the cop bar, drunk all the time.
Right. He just kind of eventually, I'm sure he just retires and he's like got a store, like a hardware store or something. Like, he just got out of the
It's a nice life.
Yeah.
Right.
He just couldn't take the stress of he knows he's right, but no one believes him.
Yeah. It's an awesome concept where you have comedians on the show to play characters of just regular slice of life people who are in the background or lived through these traumatic, like there's one where the guy's the janitor at the psych ward from Nightmare on Elm Street 2 or whatever, you know what I mean? He's like, I was telling them the fucking kids are crazy. I tell them if something's happened, don't listen to me. You know, it's like,
I was saying to you guys before, it's just people we grew up with, you know, like some kook at a bar downriver who knew something way back when. Yeah. It's probably right. You should probably listen to him.
Yeah, I know why that plane crashed on I-75 in 84.
Right.
I tell you what. My cousin was there that day.
Yeah.
You know, they know some shit. Like he dropped a donut in the gas tank or some shit, you know, and you're like, oh, that's what happened. Donut in the gas tank.
Yeah. And you are right, Mikey. It's not them. They heard it secondhand and they're recounting it as if they were
always some hole in the wall bar talk. It's always
yeah.
Well, anyways, guys, check out some episodes of that. That thing is great. It's hilarious from top to bottom. Also, wanted to ask you a little bit about You Think You Should Leave. I Think You Should Leave. Now, you're on the episode, season 3, I think episode 4, something to Joe you tell. It's the one with the hair. People know the sketches. You say it's the one with the hair drug. Man, that's a funny-ass sketch. Now, were you involved in improvising a lot of that, or was it just all kind of written, or what?
Not really. It was all written. I don't think there was any improv, actually. We stayed pretty strict to the script, but it was really fun. Got to shave my head. And, when I left too, I didn't think I told you. And as I was leaving, the woman doing my hair was asking if she wanted me or if I wanted her to shave it. And the first thing I said was, no, I think it'll be okay. Thinking that like, oh, it'll just grow in sooner rather than later if I don't shave at all, which, you know, would have made me look insane. So I ended up shaving it all.
Crazy. Look crazy.
Now look at that. Look at that beautiful head of hair.
Yeah. Look at that full head of hair. That's a full head of hair.
Jesus. Oh, no, that's a good looking head of hair, man.
I'm not going to make you feel bad, Peacock. I got the same thing going on under my head.
Yeah.
But the St. You know, we maybe the Wilsons and the St. Clair, we're all like big-headed, big-haired people.
Yeah.
That's we all have.
I got the big head. I just don't have the hair.
Yeah.
Well, we're the same hat size, right, Andy?
Yeah. You know, I mean, yeah, I can.
8 1/4 for you guys, or what?
I'm around an 8. I can get to an 8 for sure. I can get to an
really.
8.
I had 7 3/4.
Yeah, 7 3/4. But I gotta say, with some of these new hats, these 7 3/4 are a little tight.
Man,
Real
I'm
tight.
7.5
Damn.
over here. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Maybe
good.
this
Oh,
one-
you're
yeah, this
okay.
one's
All right.
fitted. This one's a fitted hat. Look at
Holy hell, man.
that. And it fits so nice and comfortably. You know who really rides me about this?
Your poor
Sam.
mother.
Sam.
Sam.
Yeah, my poor mother for sure. Sam. 'Cause Sam
What
and I-
does he ride you about?
Well, we've had a long argument of like who has a bigger head. I've always thought it was him. He said it's not even close. It's me. And then we get hats out and then we try on each other's hats. And I got to tell you, his hats are a little snug. His hats are a little snug.
Man.
They're a little tight on my head. They're a little tight. And his,
Jeez.
he can like almost, you can kind of, when he wears mine, he can like almost kind of get it down to the ear. He's like, come on. What are we fucking doing?
Yeah, I think I've worn a couple of his hats, and they seem to fit pretty well.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
just 8, baby. Here it is. The
All right,
proof.
I know what I'm sending you guys for stocking stuffers. A hat stretcher. There's a company out there that's got these hat stretchers now. You can't find your size. I know they only go up to 8 on the shelves at the store, man. But I'm just telling you. Oh, Jesus
I make the
Christ.
mistake of buying fitted hats online sometimes too, which I feel like that's a bad idea. You got to be there to try them on, right?
Gotta try
Well, I
them
buy
on.
them online all the time.
Well, you got a normal size head, I guess.
Yeah, 7.5 usually does right.
Yeah, us big heads. I know. I stopped buying them online because I was like, I would get mad. I would like love the hat, and then I'd be like, this doesn't. It's like a
Yeah.
too high. It's too high, and then
Yep.
I send it back.
You gotta
And I
send it
tried.
back. No, man, god damn, I didn't know.
Regular-headed
you guys
people
big
don't
heads.
understand what it's like.
No,
right.
I didn't
Right.
know. My son wears an 8 though, so he's in the club with you guys, man. He's always got the big head. I'd order him hats. He's got the same problem. I'm gonna get you guys a hat stretcher. That's what I'm gonna end up doing, man.
I have a hat stretcher. It's called my head. My head.
Yeah, I guess so. Does that hurt, man? When you pull a tight hat on?
Yeah, I don't do it anymore. I just stopped doing it. I just buy them a little bigger. I in the olden days, I would almost keep it a little smaller so people didn't think I had a huge head.
Yeah,
I've gotten older. Now I'm like, look, I'm happier in an 8. I'm just happier in an 8. I am. It
You're
fits
married, you got a kid. Like,
Yeah,
it's fine.
what are you doing?
just live with it. Just live, man. Just live
Yeah.
with it like that, man. Well, listen, guys, with the price of groceries right now, I got to hit you up. Are you guys hitting the butcher shop, or are you guys heading to the grocery store for the overpriced meat?
A grocery store, mainly because we don't need a lot of meat around this house. We're a very the wife has all vegetarian, all those things, and we just don't do it a lot. So when I do it, it is a special occasion.
You can freeze.
I'm the same as Andy.
Not a whole lot. Well, listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm heading to the butcher shop. I'm a butcher shop guy. I'm heading. I bring this up for a reason. You're right. This is a segue, but I wanted to show you guys this clip. The new butcher I got down here in Atlanta. I brought home some bacon, and I started cooking up this bacon. And look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're little wieners. They're wieners.
Yeah. I'm telling you, look at those. I'm halfway through this in the pan, and I'm looking at this. I had to go back up there and tell. I think you gave me the hot dog fillers. I wanted some bacon. That stuff goes in the hot dogs. What is that? It's a pan full of penises.
Yeah.
Was it good though? I mean, it looks like you were cooking it really well.
Listen, it was fantastic, and I ate it, and that's the only time somebody spliced that together. I'm gonna be in trouble now. Somebody spliced that together. I'm gonna be in trouble now. But anyway, man, he made it right. He ended up taking care of me, and we had a laugh about it. He hooked me up with some extra sausages and stuff. This seems to be a theme I'm not trying to get to. Honestly, I didn't even. We're just gonna stop talking about this because it's not. It's anyway. You can see it. It's terrible. But anyway, I'm heading to the butcher shop because now, Adam, I don't know if you know. But we have Gordon Butterfield is a part of the show here, minor league baseball Hall of Fame announcer. He's on the call for What Just Happened. You guys want to add on the show, you let us know. We get a fail video, and Gordon makes the call as if he's on the call. And today we're supporting your local butcher shop on What Just Happened.
Oh, what just happened?
What Just Happened is brought to you by the Joyview Meats Market. Don't go to the grocery store for those price gouge packaged proteins. That's not even a whole pound. Do yourself a favor and head over to Joyview Meats Market. This family's been serving the community since 1969. And they're serving the best cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. Not to mention the best fresh ground Polish kielbasa you'll find anywhere in Detroit. Smoked or fresh. That's the Joyview Meat Market right on Joy Road and Telegraph. Support the neighborhood and tell them Gordon sent you. Young Gustav and Sven are gearing up to be the next Siegfried and Roy, and they'll start with the classic tablecloth yank. But that's Grandma's wagon china on the table. That's a bad idea. Oh, no shots to Narnia. Look out, Sven. I think the cabinet killed him. 90% of magical accidents happen in the homestead. Oh my, that escalated too quick for the human eye. Let's take another look. Gustav is setting up for the tablecloth pull, and Sven thinks the best place to stand is right behind him. But at least his instincts are telling him to cover up his stuff. But then he goes fainting goat. I don't even think he felt the cabinet. He's already out cold. And Gustav's got the skill set of a good getaway driver. He sees this thing going south, and he's on the lam. On a positive note, none of the china broke until the cabinet hit it. That's the one-way ticket to Narnia.
Oh, what just happened?
That kid is that kid is hurt.
Kid got trashed, man. What are those kids doing, man? Why did he
That's a
stand behind him?
300-pound television that fell on him first.
Yeah.
Easily.
Now, when I was watching that slow-mo, I started thinking that kid might have done that on purpose. That kid that was in the back there, Sven.
You think he fell on purpose to like?
I was starting to think, you watch any, I've watched it a few times with you guys. You watch anything a few times, you start looking at like, is this set up? I'm starting to wonder if the real trick that Sven and Gustav were doing there was the fall.
How do you think he
I
figured
hope
out if
so.
he could eat that television or not before he actually tried it?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Did you guys also check out Gordon sounded a little drunk at the end? I mean, I know I pointed out last time, but he does sound like he's been boozing by the end of that first section.
He does sound like he's an elderly gentleman. He's an elderly gentleman, man.
That's kind of the point of being an announcer of any sort, right? Is that you can just drink all the time and nobody knows.
Yeah. And you can keep doing your craft until you're 90, which I believe he is. 92. I think he's got a medal from the Korean War and shit, man. I think he's but he's great. Gordon, we love him, man. That is hilarious. That kid eats it. That cabinet devours that kid. I'm sure that he's hurt.
I hope Andy's right. I hope it is a work, because if it's not, man.
I don't know. The fear on the other brother's face when he goes pure brother mode and gets like I'm fuck out of here. He's out of there, man. Like, you're on your own, mom, dad, get home. He runs so fast. I don't think it's a put on.
But what a like shaky cabinet, right? Like it shouldn't just fall like that. That
is true. He barely touched it.
Right? That kid's probably 50 pounds, dripping wet, maybe. Right?
It didn't look like they were at Wayne Manor, fellas. I'm telling you, it's probably a trailer somewhere. So they don't look like they had a lot of money happening around there. I'll tell you what. But listen, if you're going to go to the extent of faking that, they did a really good job too, because they pulled off the magic trick.
They're really good magicians.
Yeah. And bad at the same time. You know what I mean? Be better off with a white tiger.
But the trick did work, though. The stuff stayed up.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
I mean, that's pretty good.
That kid got trashed. Anyways, man, let's take this into a quick hit. All right, really quick, fire up Chip. Shout out to the Central Michigan Chippewas. Adam, I know that you're Eastern Michigan Eagle, but we all know that the real rivalry in the MAC is Central Western, the epic parties, the epic games. Now, Western has owned this thing. Central had not beaten Western in Central Michigan, in Mount Pleasant and Kelly Shorts, in about 14 years. And there it is. The cannon is back home, guys. Home at last. And that is the score at the bottom of the screen, guys. That is not punches landed in the Tyson Jake Paul fight. 16-14, a low scoring affair. Central Michigan, shout out to the Chippewas for winning the big rivalry this week. All right, now I obviously already know you guys know the answer to this because of our earlier guffaw, but what happened on this day in Pistons history, November 19th, 2004? It's the Malice at the Palace, guys.
They played a very intelligent game tonight. Then Wallace is fouled, and Wallace did. Wallace right at our chest. This has potential to be serious if they don't get between. Wallace upset. Players trying to hold each other off. Steven Jackson and Rasheed Wallace trying to be peacemakers. Now Jackson yelling. Wallace still going. You need the coaches in there to get him away. Jackson challenging Derek Coleman. Somebody should just get Jackson out as quickly as possible. The problem is, if Wallace is ejected, I'm not sure. He'd have to walk past the Pacer bench to go. Now Artest has jumped over the scorer's table and is trying to get down to the bench. Artest is in the stands. Oh, this is awful. Fans are getting involved. Steven Jackson's in the fans. Rasheed Wallace going into the stands.
Oh, man. I love that Wallace was up into the stands. You know, like I said before, Ben Wallace was ready to fight on the floor. Once I went into the crowd, he's like, "This is you, Sheed. Go get him." I mean, that was fucking how that goes.
I always forget how good Artest was trying to sell that flop in the very beginning with the helicopter arms.
Yeah, right.
Also, what that foul wasn't, rewatching it, that foul they does on Wallace wasn't like horrible.
It wasn't crazy. Yeah.
Right. And Ben just was like, was he grabbing his dick? Something like
he probably chirping him all game.
Like, that's what I want to know. Like, it wasn't a horrible foul.
No, yeah, he had probably been chipping at him all game long. You know how our test could be back then, man. And he just let him have one, man. And then boom, he's on the scorer's table. The guy throws the fucking beer at him, and there we go. Mayhem, man. Where were you guys when that happened?
I was at a bar in Kalamazoo in Western Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Full circle.
I forget the name of it, but yeah.
I was at a bar as well, watching it I was touring a Second City at the time. I remember people were trying to leave. I'm like, we got to see how this thing ends. Like, I think it was in like Utah, Colorado, was somewhere in that area. It was incredible. Hey, I will say this though, by the way, the Pistons team this year, I like this Pistons team this year, by the way.
Oh yeah.
They're not gonna win. They're not gonna win 50 games, but they're gonna let you know they're there every game. They're
yeah.
Actually, like 30, 35 games. They're fun.
Yeah, we're going to jump to that right now with the next one. But really quickly, I did want to mention about the Malice at the Palace. And every time this comes up, I bring it up to people. Jackson and Artest, pretty tough guys. You won't want to fight those guys. Super athletes and for legitimate tough guys. But, going up into the crowd to fight everybody. Lucky for them, the Pistons were playing out in Auburn Hills at the time. Because if they still played at Cobo Hall, those guys would not have made it out of the building alive. They would have been killed. They would have been killed. You wouldn't have pulled that shit downtown in Detroit. You would have went into the seats of Cobo Hall. They'd have fucked those guys up, man. I'm telling you that right now. All right, Andy, you bring up the Pistons. Let's talk about it because Peacock, I know you are a super fan. Now, they're only 7-9 right now, but with already got some big wins over the Lakers. They beat the Hawks. Who else did they had another big win in there somewhere. OT lost to the Bucks. I'll count that one as well. Beat the Heat.
That was a heartbreaker.
They beat the Heat. This team's been fun to watch. They've been really competitive. They are going to be fun this year. But I got to ask you, do you think the bad boys are back after what happened in that Milwaukee game? If you didn't see it, here you go.
Two-man game. PC finding Giannis. Looking for it. Gets thrown down.
Watch the yank down. Aggressive yank down while he's airborne.
The previous foul on Stewart is under review to see if it meets the criteria for a flagrant foul.
No, without question, it's a flagrant. I think it's...
Yeah, I think Stewart got the flagrant on that one. You listen, nobody's condoning that kind of stuff. I mean, we want the good.
It's a grown man's game, though, Mikey. It's a grown man's game. So.
But we want the Bill Laimbeer foul where you can just get him right across the face, and you're like, "What? I'm going for the ball." You know what I mean? You don't have the jersey grab, but it does show some competitiveness, some grittiness. Are the hard hats back? Are the bad boys coming back? We're going to bully people. What's going on, man?
I mean, Beef Stew got into a fight with LeBron, 2 years ago? Like he fought him at Staples Center. So I don't know. I don't know if the bad boys are back, but I think Isaiah Stewart's a lovely fit for the Pistons.
I love it. Right? We love that guy, man. I
think they got a coach who is a good, he burnt out maybe at Houston a couple years ago, but the coach is good for this team because I think he wants to play defense. And what the Pistons are, maybe we'll say they're a little bit offensively challenged, though they did lose last night. They scored 120. They lost 121 to 123, I think, last night. But those guys are. I just kind of like the Pistons team. I think they're going to fight for a play-in. I think they're going to get 9 or 10. The East will shake out. I think they have a shot. And
they got some good pieces.
They're just unfun to play. They're just. I think if you're playing the Pistons, you're like, oh God. Won't these guys just give up? And they like, you may beat the Pistons, but you're gonna leave knowing that it was not easy.
Right. I think the front office has finally, like this year when they went out and added some pieces and they're looking at trying to put this thing together. I think they've given up on just being shitty and trying to land the top pick, because 6 years in a row we're the worst team in the damn league and we pick no higher than 5th every year. They know that the league hates us from the 80s still, and we're not going to let us get any kind of superstar. And there's a superstar coming out in the draft this year. If we were the worst team in the league and you think Detroit was sniffing the number 1 pick, you ain't following the NBA. No way.
This would be a great year for Detroit to get. I would love that guy on that team Cooper Flagg would be amazing.
Yeah, never going to happen. Never going to happen. I'll tell you that right now. He'll wind up, some team like New York will wind up with barely getting into the lottery because their team will all get injured and they'll have 1 ball in the fucking bag and he'll be a Nick. I'm telling you.
It's going to be so boring.
Yeah, man, it's terrible. It's terrible. They'll wind up sending him where they want to send him. That's how they've always done it. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit of Tigers. The baseball awards are out, and there it is. Triple Crown winner Tariq Skubal is the Cy Young winner for the Detroit Tigers. 30 first-place votes unanimous. Andy, I do see 2 Kansas City Royals in there in the top 5. That's promising for you. But Scoobs wins it unanimously. Now, Peacock, I got to ask you this, and Andy, you as well. So he unanimously wins the Cy Young. A.J. Hinch does not win AL Manager of the Year. And I'm going to tell you, I think it's solely his punishment for being involved with those Astros teams. They can't take the rings and the banners, and they're like,
that makes sense. Sure, yeah.
How is he not the coach of the year? The whole team falls apart. You lose your high-paid stars. You're a 1% chance to make the postseason in July, August, and he pieces this thing together with brilliant matchup play. You only have 2 starting pitchers the whole second half of the year. You're piecing together bullpen starts. You have one of the greatest second halves in the history of baseball and get in the playoffs. Knock off the perennial American League East Championship. The American League Championship Series Astros. They're in it every year for the last 7 or 8 years. You knock them off. You take Cleveland all the way to the brink. How's he not the coach of the year?
It makes sense to me.
I mean, I think the interesting thing about that is that the other 3 central managers were like 1, 2, and 3, when they had like one of the worst teams ever in the history of their division, where those teams got absolute fat on beating the White Sox. You know, so it's like, you remember those stats? I can't remember anymore, but it was like, you know, they were like 90 and 90 against all the other teams, but they were like, those 3 teams combined were like 40 games over 500 against the White Sox. Yeah. But there was not a lot of, whoever won that division was probably winning the Manager of the Year. But Hinch did a better job the last couple months, but.
Oh, yeah, he should have been, hands down. He wasn't involved with those Astros teams. He'd have been coach of the year. Now, only 22 pitchers ever in the history of baseball have won the Triple Crown. Both Cy Young winners this year did it. Chris Sale in the National League also won the Triple Crown. So Scoobs wins the Triple Crown. He becomes one of 5 Tiger pitchers ever to win the Cy Young. Can you name the other 4? Throw some names out there.
Well,
Verlander.
Okay, you got it. JV is on the list right there. JV wins it.
Jack Morris.
Jack Morris.
Jack Morris never won it.
Wow.
Nope, never won it. I'll give you a hint. Another current pitcher was also in the rotation with JV, who became a star with us. We picked him up as a trash throw-in, and he wound up a star in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Scherzer. That's a good guess.
Max Scherzer?
Mad Max. You got it, baby. Mad Max was a
went to Mizzou.
Yeah, you're right.
Really?
You're right.
Yeah. Who's that famous pitcher for the Tigers from the 60s? He's like the most famous pitcher. That guy clearly has done it.
Danny McClain, the last pitcher to win 30 games. He actually won 31 games that year and then spent 15 years, I think, in federal prison for he went to jail big time.
I forgot that he went to jail.
All kind of checks. Like he went to federal prison. He was in big trouble. He was broke, man, and he was using his name to, what I mean?
Mikey, was he a car dealer guy, or what was he when we were kids?
I can't remember. I don't know. I
remember the name. He was involved in something, but I was really
he was writing fraudulent checks. He was like Catch Me If You Can, Frank Abagnale and everybody. Oh yeah.
Man,
big time. Went to jail for a long time.
So-
But the last pitcher ever who's ever going to win 30 in a season, that's Denny McClain. One more. There's one more from the 84 Tigers championship season.
Oh my gosh, no idea.
And this guy's a unicorn.
Not Jack. The bird?
Willie Hernandez.
Oh,
buddy.
Willie Hernandez.
Willie Hernandez. Old Guillermo Hernandez. And Andy, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that maybe you're like, I don't even know who this guy is because, okay, of these Tiger pitchers, how many of these guys won the MVP and the Cy Young?
We're going to go
Okay,
with
a
Willie
handful.
Hernandez.
Willie Hernandez and Verlander. Verlander
Yeah, I was going to
did
say
it.
Verlander.
One of only a couple pitchers ever to do it. And Willie Hernandez did it. Now, the thing with Willie Hernandez, though, Willie Hernandez was a relief pitcher, was our closer, Andy. He was the closer. And here's his stats from 1984. Okay. So he had 32 saves, a 1.92 ERA, 112 Ks. He pitched 141 innings and made 80 appearances.
Wow.
Tell me the last closer that ever will have a stat line like that. And the guy was the MVP of the league.
Every other game, he was in the game, basically.
He pitched every day of the season, man, and his ERA was 192.
Damn.
So that's crazy, right? I mean, that is crazy, and not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people know that, man. Cy Young, MVP. Kudos. Give it up to the Tigers.
Tim and I and his wife, Tim and I and Heather, we accidentally stumbled into, I believe it was Verlander's first no-hitter against Milwaukee.
Oh,
I
wow.
was there
We
as
were
well.
down there and doing something, and we were, last second, let's go to the game. And yeah, he wound up throwing a no-hitter.
Yeah, those are awesome.
That was very cool. I still have that ticket. It was very fun.
Oh, so awesome, man. All right, rounding out quick hits here, guys. You know that they have the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader shows on Netflix. They got a new season up, and they just had a big reunion of all the old cheerleaders and things like that. And here's a shot of some of the cheerleaders from the show right there. Now,
Who were those two babes on the outside?
it is said that those two babes on the outside are cheerleaders from the last time that the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl.
Nice.
Now, come on, that's now knock it off
Nice.
the internet. Those ladies
That
ain't
was
that
good.
old. Those ladies ain't that.
93.
Yeah, those ladies are too young for that.
Those ladies are too young to have been cheerleaders when the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl, right? All right,
That's
guys.
so fun.
That's fuck the Cowboys, right? That's gonna be the end of Quick Hits to take us into our favorite segment with a voice that you are going to recognize, Peacock. Let's get to knock it off.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
Oh my God.
Brilliant. Everybody loves it.
I love
All right,
it.
let's talk about the fact that all the talking heads and the pundits on TV right now are saying Jared Goff cannot win the MVP after that 5 interception performance. That was it. That was the nail in the coffin. What say you to that, guys?
I think it's the Lions. I mean, if they go 16-1 or 15-2, I think you need Josh Allen to kind of fall a little bit. I think Josh Allen and Lamar. I don't think they're going to give it to Lamar. He won it last year. It's so rare, and he's won it 2 of the last 3 years, whatever. And Lamar's been great. I think it's Josh Allen or Goff. I think those are the final 2. I think that's where we're at.
I don't know. I think that 5 interception thing is so silly because it's you're gauging a whole season, right? And doesn't it count how a guy responds when something like that happens? And look what he did last week. That was, bananas. What was his rating? Like 158 or something, or 178 or something?
It was
Shit
perfect.
like that?
158.3 is a perfect score. You can't get any higher. And that's exactly the point I'm going to make. I agree with you, Peak. I'm glad you brought it up because all of them were like, oh, it's Lamar. Goff can't recover from that. I'm like, he recovered from it in the second half. He threw 5 picks. They're the only team in the history of the NFL to throw 5 interceptions, to have a turnover ratio of -3 and win the game. He came back and won the game. So Goff can't be the MVP because he threw 5 picks and won a game. And then the very next game, like you said, he comes out and goes 24-29, 412 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 158.3, perfect rating. And all I'm hearing about is Lamar. And what did Lamar do that same exact week? 16 of 33, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who didn't even score a touchdown. What are we talking about? Like, he's allowed to go out and lay an egg like that, but our guy's not allowed to win a fucking game and have it all? Come on, man. Bullshit.
Josh Allen versus Goff. That's what it's going to be, I think.
Yeah, I think here we go. Right there, baby. MVP watch. Give it up to golf.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
Reminds me of growing up. Done that, Andy? It just reminds you of growing up.
Yeah, it does, man. It's a classic throwback, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
I love it. Makes me.
I love it. Did you guys watch the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. We all watched that. Yeah. Takeaways from the fight?
I thought it was what we thought it would be. It was like it was going to be a bad fight. I think I think the real if I'm Netflix, they got NFL games coming in like a month.
Oh, that story's all over the place. Yeah.
And there's one, if that thing does what it was doing in those NFL games, NFL fans are going to fucking lose their mind.
Well, it's going to be beyond that. I've done some reading on this. They were on the phone with Netflix 1 hour into the undercard going, hey, you better have this fucking fixed by Christmas Day. Right. They were already on the phone.
The NFL was?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then Netflix was crying that this was supposed to be in July and we were going to have time to fix it. So we haven't been able to test it because the fight got postponed to November. And the NFL's going, they don't give a fuck because it's in the contract that if they fuck up the broadcast and shit, the NFL is entitled to a large sum of money from Netflix. So they better figure that shit out.
Whoops.
Yeah, big time whoops. Big time whoops. But about the fight, I know you guys have probably seen this around the internet. Everybody's been seeing it, and there's truth to it. The contract of the fight, that Mike Tyson was contractually not allowed to throw an uppercut in this fight. Was not allowed to throw an uppercut. If the fight ended in the first 3 rounds, meaning if Tyson were to catch Paul and knock him out in the first 3 rounds, he would receive, it was less than 10% of his 20 million. I think it was like 300,000 or 400,000 of the 20 million, something ridiculous like that. He was going to get paid nothing. So he wasn't allowed to try to go after him while he was fresh. This was all in the contract and it's coming out. And here's a little video for you guys to look at and see. You could see now when you were watching that fight, now looking back, Tyson looked old and he couldn't get in there and he wasn't on purpose. Like, watch this.
The Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight was rigged. Look at how Mike was fighting against Roy Jones at 54 years old. And take a look at this counter. Roy goes in with a jab, and Mike slips to the outside and immediately counters him with a left hook. Now compare this with the Jake fight. Mike would go to all the trouble of closing the distance on Jake, but wouldn't counter. Jake throws a big right hook, and Mike slips under it. Jake is completely open and out of position, while Jake is in range. But Mike doesn't counter. Instead, he just throws his hands and waits till Jake covers up and backs out of range. Again here, Jake feints a jab, then goes for a left hook that he abandons since Mike slips. But Jake's guard is open and Mike loaded up his left hand, but he doesn't throw it instead. He just stands up. Was the fight rigged?
Yes,
now listen, it's very interesting right there. Those are the early rounds, and you can see Tyson is just in Tyson mode where he's ready to, and then he pulls it back. I think there's something to that, and I'm not saying he's 60 years old. It is what it was, but what is that guy? Listen, Peacock, what does that say about Jake Paul that you're so scared of a 60-year-old? It's written into the contract that he can't do this or that and can't knock you out. Like, what a fucking coward.
He's not a real boxer.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's like, he's just not a real, he's scamming everybody. Like, he's just doing what he did on YouTube, just on a more massive level.
Yeah. And then he's a master of it because after the fight, he's spinning this whole narrative of, oh, well, once I got in there, I kind of realized that he wasn't, just shell of himself. And then he makes this statement. I didn't want to hurt somebody that didn't need to be hurt. So I kind of laid off him and stayed away. No, now we know why you were staying away from him in the early rounds. You didn't want to get your ass knocked out. Like, then he makes himself look like a martyr. Fuck this guy. I can't, man. It's terrible. It's terrible.
He should fight Vladimir Klitschko.
He should. Well, he already, the only boxer he ever fought was Fury's brother, who was a real boxer, and he lost.
Right.
The only boxer he ever fought, he lost.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't like some kind of great fight. I mean, it was. Anyway, man, what a scam.
I think it's cool Tyson got 20 million. That's nice.
Yeah.
Agreed. I don't blame Mike one bit. You're at that stage in your life. Work the contract however the fuck you want. I need this money. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I don't blame Mike one bit. But Jake Paul.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
Oh, man, this ridiculous. This ridiculous. Anyways, let's move on from that, guys. It's time for the ULM report. Adam, as I'm sure you're probably aware, and Andy is very aware, that my son is playing for the University of Louisiana Monroe Warhawks this season. They're having a great year. They're on the cusp of going to only the second bowl game in school history. They need one more win. And this weekend, guys, we got Arkansas State at Arkansas State. We are on bowl watch this weekend, guys. We are on bowl watch. And I'm telling you what, it's because of the freshman leader in rushing in the nation. True freshman leader in rushing in the nation is Ahmad Hardy for ULM. This guy's got almost 1,000 yards. He's going to go over 1,000 this weekend. There's no doubt about it. He's fantastic. Been putting the team on his back. This kid is great. ULM usually shows up and plays great defense against teams like Arkansas State and the style of offense that they're playing. We are expecting to get bowl eligible this weekend. Going to be a big game. And another part of our game that is really good, Peacock, is the punt team. I'm telling you, the punt team is good. And we're flipping the field and pinning people with plays like this.
Versus this Auburn defensive front. So from a protection standpoint,
we're going to watch it. We're going to look at this.
See that pocket move.
This is early. Now, this is against Auburn, guys. There's a dart back there. There's the punt. There's a long snapper getting down the field there. We're going to cover this punt. It's about 50 yards. And, getting in on the action. Boom. Getting in on the action at Auburn there. We're getting downfield. We're covering. We're tackling. And here's another one. Now, this is a good example of what we're doing.
Of Tiger defenders.
Eldrick Falk probably said, hey, man, I could have gotten there too. Mackenzie Ryan punting again. With Malcolm Simmons standing at his own 45. And Simmons says, get away from it. Takes an Auburn bounce. And is down near the 45-yard line.
A big part of the Warhawks, success this year has been the special teams. I'm just saying, it's one of my favorite players on those special teams. I'm just saying.
What is that insane when they all run to the line? Why aren't they just lined up? Why are they running to the line? What is that doing for anyone?
I'm not sure. Special teams coach, that's like their huddle, and they look to see what they're lined up in, and then they're going to call the kick, because I'm not giving any secrets here, I don't think, but our punter can punt right or left footed. So we will see how they set up the return. And he'll try to kick it either way, or we might try a fake, so we like to see what they're up to. And then we get to the line and snap immediately before they get a chance to adjust. That's my 2 cents on it. That's what I think. But this game opened with ULM being a 3-point dog. It has moved to a 2-point dog, where, Andy, as you know, the away team moving from 3 to 2. Some money coming in on ULM, and I think this game's pretty even.
That is what that means for sure. It's gonna be a coin flip game, it sounds like.
Let's go. I'm on the Warhawks. We're gonna win this damn thing this weekend, and we're going bowling, guys. Right? We're gonna go bowling.
Absolutely.
And you'll get like the whole family, Pat. Like you'll get to go and you'll get set up for the game, right?
Well, he will. I don't think they'll give us hotels and shit. Like, we got to get there ourselves, but there'll be some experiences we'll be able to partake in and hang out.
The university should pay for the parents. That would be very
1,000% they should.
All this
they should.
Without us, you don't have these guys, right?
That's right.
I agree, man. Well, listen, we moved the whole family down here to be closer to go to all these games.
Yeah.
Hook a brother up, man. That's a big move from LA to Atlanta now. Come on now. Hook us up.
Sure is.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got to pay one more set of bills before we get to the Big 6 picks. Now, Peacock, real quick, your favorite tailgate beverage?
Oh, my God. What do I like? Geez. Michelob Ultra.
Okay. Ultra guy. Okay.
It's nice and light, though. It's
nice
smart.
and light beer. Well, listen, this is what we're doing here on the DWMOD podcast.
Brass monkey, that monkey, brass monkey, chunky.
Oh, yes, Andy will attest to the fact that we love ourselves a delicious Brass Monkey made with the official beer choice of the DWMOD podcast, Old English 800, with a splash of orange juice, and get you that original Brass Monkey for your tailgates. Guys, it's delicious. It's way better than the champagne. You're not going to get the heartburn and all the headaches from the champagne and all that bullshit. Enjoy yourself Old English 800 with some orange juice. I love them. I drink them all the damn time. Now, that gets us into the Big Six Picks. Also brought to you by the official beer choice of DWMOD podcast, Old English 800. There's a tiger in
That's a
everybody.
great box.
Love it, right? Love it.
That's a great box.
Loose. I'm digging it. Well, we're moving in here. Big Six Picks. Peacock, are you ready? Now, I know
I'm getting it up. Here we go.
You're ready to go. All right, here, let's jump right in to the first set of games here in the NCAA. We got number 5, Indiana, plus 12. At number 2, Ohio State, 51.5 is the over-under. Who do you like in this game?
I'm going to go with Indiana.
We're going to take Indiana. All right, Indiana.
Take Indiana.
Taking Indiana and the 12 points. And do you think it's going to be over or under 51.5?
God, I think it's going to be over.
You're going to take the over. Indiana and
the over.
Seems like you know what you're doing. It seems like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to sell it.
No, well, I think you're trying to sell a little too hard. I'm getting hustled here. Color and money happening.
No. I'm not. No way. I'm not Minnesota fatsing you.
I think you are, man. All right, Andy, where you land on this one?
2 days ago, I liked Ohio State. And then I started thinking about the beauty pageant aspect. Like these teams need to stay close. These teams need to score a lot of points to look good for the committee. Indiana needs to stay close. Indiana can't lose by 30. To lose by 30, they are going to leave themselves open to not making the playoff.
True.
Do I see Indiana getting a backdoor cover? Possibly. So, because I think they're going to keep taking shots. Ohio State may get up 24, and then Indiana may get 17. Then they may get to 10, right? So I do think Ohio State's going to win. I'm going to put my money on Indiana, though, because I do think Indiana has a lot to play for. And I think they're going to play for they can't get blown out. And I'm going to trust Signetti. Also, I hate Ryan Day. I think he's a horrible coach. So I never want to put my money on Ryan Day at Ohio State. So give me Signetti. I think they had a bye week. Ohio State didn't. My heart says follow Signetti. I'm going to follow Signetti. Give me Indiana. Give me the over.
Indiana and the over. Now, I personally think that your dislike for Ryan Day is from something that happened between the two of you guys at some kind of family function, because he also has the St. Clair big head with the very dark, thick hair and beard. So I'm sure you've had a Thanksgiving or two with Ryan Day, just genetically looking at you guys. I'm going to be on Ohio State. I'm going to be on Ohio State here, guys. I just think for the same reasons you pointed out, Andy, and I don't think, Andy, that Indiana will be able to hang down the stretch. And that's where I think it's going to be. You're going to be covering in the second half, and then Ohio State's going to kick it into gear because they need the pretty blowout. And I think they're going to get it. I'm going to roll with Ohio State in the over, but I'll be rooting for the Hoosiers like a son of a bitch. I'm telling you that right now. Ohio State and the over from me. Let's move on to the next game. BYU, number 14, BYU is +3 at number 21, Arizona State. The over-under here is 48.5. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you've been listening to the show, you know I'm on Arizona State. I've liked Arizona State all year. I like Scattaboo. He's a hell of a running back. They're going to ground and pound you. I love them to win this game. 2 weeks ago, I told you, Andy, right, I'd be taking them in this spot. And I'm sticking with it. I'm taking Arizona State to cover, and I'm going to take the over here. What about you, Andy?
I hate BYU. I just hate them. But I think we're at the peak of Arizona State number. Like three is a lot of points. The Arizona State can't get any pressure on the quarterback. They can't. They're like 140th in the nation. So BYU, that's the quarterback. I don't call it. That's not a.
That's from his mouth.
BYU. He's like, I guess. By the way, I watched that BYU game last week. You guys want to guess how many Jewish students are at BYU on campus?
None.
And one is the quarterback. There's more than one.
Oh, one.
There's more than.
Shit.
There's more than one.
Five Jewish kids at BYU. Why are they going there? I don't even get what the. I get.
Why are they going there?
Don't go there.
It's a very good medical school.
It's got. I guess so. But
law school.
I think if it gets to 3.5, I love BYU at 3.5. At 3, I guess I would take Arizona State. I think it's going to be close. I think that quarterback's for BYU who's not very good, is going to be able to make a lot of plays. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the team I don't like, and I'm going to take BYU, and I'm going to take the over.
Okay, BYU and the over. What about you, Peacock? Where are you?
I'm going to take ASU just because for what a lot of what Andy said. I just think the whole founding of their institution is kind of absurd, and I can't believe we're still entertaining this. So I'm going to go with Arizona State.
I should have done that. He's betting against the institution.
Yeah, John Smith found some plates up in New York.
Yeah,
Jesus was in North America, and you are all
Come on,
believing
man.
this shit.
No.
I know it is
Absurd.
ridiculous. Over or under on this, boss?
I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, all right. I like it. You went under, baby.
Well, you were jumping out there under. All right, the under for you. Now, Peacock, I don't mean to put a lot of pressure on you, but the most successful thing in this show for 12 weeks that has made people money is the guest pickers over-unders. The guest pickers over-unders are plus 15. Plus 15. That's insane. If you understand gambling, to be plus 15, picking 6 over-unders for 12 straight weeks is insane. So you're on the
You got to
hook.
stick with me, gamblers. I'm going to take you to that promised land.
Yeah.
You're on the hook here, man. All right, number 19, Army at 14.5 at Notre Dame. 44.5 is the over-under. Army, the big dog here. What do you say, Peacock?
I'm going with the Army because of the same reasons of BYU. I feel the same thing about Notre Dame. This is absurd what we're doing. We got to go with the Army.
All right, we're going with the Army or over-under.
I'm going to go over.
You're going to take the over in this one. What about you, Andy?
Well, Peacock's doing something I don't think is – I think there's two ways to bet this game. You take Army and you take the under. You take Notre Dame and you take the over. Peacock changed it up. He went with Army in the over. So he's telling – Peacock believes Army is going to get in the shootout and hang with Notre Dame in a shootout.
I love it.
I think if you take Army, you got to take the under, and I think if you take Notre Dame, you take the over. Notre Dame has won their last 6 games by 30 points. Or they've scored 30 points their last 6 games. Army hasn't beaten Notre Dame, has beaten them twice since 1953. 2 times. I don't like the Service Academy. I'm a fan of America, just not a fan of this Army Service Academy football team. But their same recipe as they had against Navy, right? 6 turnovers. That they can't have 6 turnovers like Navy did. Navy ran for over 200 yards on Notre Dame. That's the key to success. Don't have a lot of possessions. Don't give Notre Dame a chance to win. Having said all that, give me the over. Give me Notre Dame.
Notre Dame and the over. Now, I would just like to reiterate that during that soliloquy, as Stephen A. would put it, Andy said, I do not like the service academies. And then he said, in a shootout, if they were involved in a shootout, Notre Dame would beat the Army in a shootout. I think the Army could win any shootout, and I want to make it clear. I just want to make it clear, Peacock, to everybody here that we here at DWMOD, we support the troops. We support the troops. We love America.
I want to defend my buddy Andy here just for a second. I believe he said this particular branch of the service academy.
Right.
So I think the other ones are still fine. He's okay with the Coast Guard and the Navy and the Marines and the Air Force.
Okay. All right.
I also say, I will say, I don't like betting on these Army as a favorite. As a dog, though, I do like these dog service academies.
Okay, fellas.
I'm still going Notre Dame.
We are getting into a Matt Gaetz level of backtracking here from these states.
Sorry, now that Andy explained the whole thing, I'm really kind of nervous about my bet. But folks, stay with me. I'm going to take it in.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, hey, I support the troops. So I'm just going to tell you right now, my pick as an American, a God-loving American, is all right, I'm taking Notre Dame in the over as well. Let's move on to the I'm on Notre Dame in the over here, guys. Listen, I'll be rooting like hell for Army, but come on, man. Notre Dame's going to win this thing. And
also remember, the Notre Dame really has to look good because they don't have a conference championship game. So they are not going to pull back on Army.
No, and
they're going to
Northern Illinois.
Army. They're going to crush the Army troops. They're going to go out of their way to destroy our Army. In my opinion.
All right, back off, Hitler. Jeez, oh, Pete's, man. What's going on over there? My God.
But I just want to if Army does win and it is the over, if you bet with me, I believe you will make a lot of money. Is that right?
Will make more money than any guest has ever handed out on this show. I will tell you that right now, Peacock. You will
Damn it. I hope somebody does it.
I hope they do. I really do. I'm pulling for them. Let's jump to the NFL. We got the 49ers +2 at Green Bay. The over-under is 47.5. We'll just start with you, Peacock. What do you think?
I'm going to take the 49ers.
Okay. 49ers and over or under here?
I'm going to go the under.
You're going to take the under? Okay, under on this score. Well, I'm going to tell you where I'm landing right here. Maybe for the same reasons. I think Andy might be on the same page here. Well, I'm not sure if Brock Purdy's playing or not for the 49ers this week. I honestly don't know if it matters. I'm going to stick with Green Bay because you're only laying the 2. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers laying the 2. But again, I hope the Niners win for the Lions' sake. But I'll take Green Bay laying the 2. And I'm going to keep this thing on the under. I'm going to keep this thing on the under. I think the hot pick is to grab the over. These teams can score, but Frisco's still banged up. Don't know if Purdy's playing, and Green Bay's still a little banged up. So that's where I'm at, Andy. What about you?
I texted you last night. You should take Green Bay money line just to play it safe. I think if Purdy was playing, if I knew for sure he was playing right now, I'm with Peacock. I'm taking San Francisco on the under. But I actually don't think Purdy's going to play. I think he's going to miss this game, which tells me I'm going to take Green Bay and I'm going to take the under. In fact, if you're listening to this podcast, and God knows millions of you are, I would put my money on Green Bay. I think you just got to play it safe more than anything. So I like Green Bay. I like the under. Not that I think Green Bay is any good. I think they'd lose if San Francisco was healthy. I just like Green Bay. I think Purdy's a big deal. So he's a tough kid who doesn't miss a lot of practice, and he's missed the last few. So I'm taking Green Bay in the under.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Green Bay and the under. Let's jump to the Arizona Cardinals -1 at the Seahawks, who just had a big win last week. The over-under here, 47.5. I'll start on this one, guys. I'm going to roll with the Seahawks in the over. I'm going to take Geno. I'm going to take Geno at home. I'm not a big fan of Kyler Murray. Not a big fan of this Cardinals team. They've been playing well lately. But not on the road up in the Northwest, a little bit of rain coming down. Give me Geno and the boys laying the 1 point, and I'm going to take the over, though. There will be points scored in this game. Andy, what do you think?
Arizona coming off a bye week. Geno struggles at home. If you look at his last 13 games, he's covered the spread 3 out of the last 13 times. So that means he's 3-10. And the three teams he beat were like horrible quarterbacks. So he doesn't beat good quarterbacks, doesn't beat good teams at home. The Seahawks, they came off a bye last week in a must-win game against San Francisco. I loved Seattle last week at +7. This week I like Arizona. I just think Arizona are going to score. They're going to put up points. I think it's easy. I think this is an easy Zona game. It's probably too easy, and Seattle's going to win. But give me Arizona and give me the over.
Arizona and the over. All right, Peacock, where are you landing?
I'm going to go Arizona and the over too.
Okay, everybody likes Kyler Murray in the rain today. All right, okay, we'll land on that. Now, listen, if you guys put together a parlay with Army and the over and Arizona and the over, you'll be able to buy a house this weekend. I'm just going to tell you that right.
10-1, buddy. 10-1. You see how much you want to put out there.
10-1.
And when I run for governor, remember what I did for you.
That's right.
When you run for governor, we're going to have to make sure and take this down off the internet. We'll need to distance you from Hitler in the right corner.
Yeah.
Here, okay?
I love the Army, just not this Army. I think the Irish, the Irish beat our Army. That's
right. Okay. Wow. Here we go. All right, let's jump to the last game here. NFL Ravens -3 out at the Los Angeles Chargers, who are a hot team right now. And the NFL love letter is being written to them right now. 50.5 is the over under here. Let's start with you, Andy.
I think if it's under a field goal, you take Lamar. I think he's so money under a field goal. I think at 3, and I think it goes up, to be honest. I'm going to be on the Chargers. And okay. I think the Chargers look, the Ravens give away games, man. They let teams in these games all the time. If it gets to 2.5 or 2 by Sunday night, yeah, I'll be on the Ravens. But if it stays at 3 or gets to 3.5, Chargers. And so it's 3 right now in this contest. Give me the over. I think these teams are going to score. I think it's very similar to the Bengals game. We just watched this game go over. Exact same, 34-27. This thing's going to go over. And I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take the Chargers.
Yeah. Well, listen, you know where I land on this Raven stuff, and they will never, ever say it on TV because it's not posh for some reason. But we saw it last week, and I've been telling you for years on this show, if you can get up on the Ravens and make them abandon the run and turn Lamar into a pocket passer, you will beat the Ravens. You will beat them. He will line up 16 of 33 for 200 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 pick. He only ran the ball 4 times. He only tried to run the ball 4 times. They were panic mode because they were trailing. And then Derrick Henry's not even in the game. Derrick Henry's not even in the game on the 2-point conversion last week. Andy, you and I both thought they would look down the sideline this year and see Henry and say, we got to run. Well, they're not. I mean, they're not. They're in panic mode again. But that being said, I don't think they're going to lose twice in a row. I think this is a perfect spot to fade the Chargers, a little bit of a catch and trap. They're hot. They're darlings. We just saw them win. Baltimore, we just saw fall on their face. They have a little bit of a bounce back. I'm going to take the Ravens and the under. And now we have overwhelmed you with information, Peacock. I don't know what you're going to do with that.
I'm going to take Army in this one. I'm going to go with the under.
I love the troops. I love the troops. Good job.
I love them. I think they can do anything.
The odds thing is the Irish are going to car bomb the Army.
Oh, that's all. All right. Okay. Here we go. Oh, man. Good Lord.
I don't know, man. You guys both, those are, I'm going to go with the Chargers and the over.
Okay. All right. Peacock trusts Andy more than me. Hold on. I'm writing this down. And
yeah, I don't know. It's not, I mean.
No, that's all right. Andy, he's
choice.
probably right. He's probably right. He's probably, look at more times than not on these NFL games. Andy will have the right spot plays where I don't. College, I'm a little better on the college games than I am the pro games, to be honest with you guys. But there it is, man. There's the Big Six Picks. They are in right now. The standings are, I'm in first place at 33-27 with a -7 on the over-under. Dead last in the over-under, but that's only the tiebreakers. It doesn't matter until it does matter. Andy's in second place, 31-29. He's -2 on the over-under, and the guest pickers right behind at 30-30 with +15 on the over-unders. That is insane. That is insane.
I don't think I helped. I don't think I helped at all.
Listen, we've had some other pickers on the show didn't think they helped, and they've gotten them right. I think it's just the hot spot. I think it's just the hot spot for you guys, man. I'm telling you. Well, listen, Peacock, thank you for joining the show. Apologize for the audio and video problems earlier in the show. I apologize to the fans because, guys, missed out on a good 15 minutes of just us doing bits and laughing. And we lost it. Louis. Yeah. Anyway, man. Let me backtrack a little bit after that apology. Just tell you, thank you, man. I know you're busy. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for having me, boys. I love you. You're the best.
I love you, man. Tell Allie hi.
I will.
Tell Allie
back home.
Hello. And we'll see you next time, guys.
Ready? College football is now B1G versus SEC.
Down.
If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money.
Ready?
All Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works. All right, we're out. We're out.